Brenda Holscomb wondered how they could afford to keep the TLC mart so cold. She only ran her air conditioner part of the time to take the edge off the worst of the Mississippi summer heat. Even then, her electric bill was astronomical. But the TLC mart, even during the height of July and August, was always cold enough to keep meat fresh. Her mother liked to joke that when she shopped there, she didn't age. At 20, Brenda was already a divorcee, as well as a single mother. Everything she'd been taught was eternal had turned out to be transitory. And the bedrock of everything, her belief in the Pentecostal church, was on shaky ground. She kept that to herself, of course. No one, certainly not her family or her church friends, could be trusted with it. To admit doubt was to admit apostasy. You always find tender, loving care and the best prices anywhere at TLC Mart. The jingle preceded every in-store announcement, and Brenda paused to see if the surprise special deal was something she could use. But she had no need for 12-gauge shotgun shells, at least not since Donnie moved out. He'd taken all his guns with him. "Mama?" "What, honey?" "I want a stuffy," her 5-year-old daughter Journey said from her seat in the shopping cart. They'd just passed a 6-foot-high cage enclosing an immense pile of stuffed animals. "No, honey. We can't afford it this week." Journey slapped the metal cart frame. "I want a stuffy," she repeated more insistently. "No, Journey, now behave." Brenda didn't see her daughter's face scrunch up in a hateful scowl, all wrong for such a small child. She didn't see the way the little fists clenched, not in petulance, but as if they were about to beat someone to a pulp. But she sure heard it when her beautiful baby girl snarled, "Listen, you motherfucking bitch! I said I want a goddamn stuffy, so don't you give me any bullshit about it." The words didn't register at first, they were so out of character, but when they did, Brenda froze, and coupons fell in a slow-motion shower from her hand. "Journey," she gasped. Other shoppers nearby had overheard and stopped to stare. Journey leaned forward as much as the little red safety belt allowed. "Don't fuck with me, Mama. I'm the only one who loves you, and you're on thin ice with me." In the silence, the store's jingle rang out again. You can always find tender, loving care and the best prices anywhere at TLC Mart. Brother Culligan, Brenda's minister, listened seriously as she described the changes in her daughter's behavior over the past week. Not just the cursing and tantrums, but the adult-sounding snideness and the sexual innuendo far too mature for a girl about to start kindergarten. There was something wrong, something evil about it all, and Brenda was at her wit's end. The pastor's office was small and stuffy, despite the box fan that tried to move the air around. By the time she finished, tears and sweat ran down Brenda's skin in equal rivulets. Brother Culligan nodded. He was not yet 30, shaved bald and with a tattoo of a cross on the back of his head. He had dropped out of high school at 16 to follow the Lord's calling, and had read no book but the Bible in the decades since. He distrusted psychiatry, traditional medicine, and public education. So when Brenda finished by saying, "And Brother Culligan, I'm afraid she's possessed by the devil," Culligan could only nod in agreement. He took Brenda's hands in his own. "Let's pray together," he said, and led her in a moment of prayer. It comforted her to the point where she settled into a sniffly, liminal state between hysterics and rationality. When they were done, he said, "I know just the person to help us." Journey wore a demure dress and well-worn frozen tennis shoes, Anna on one foot and Elsa on the other. Red nylon ropes bound her to the chair. The man in charge insisted they were necessary even for such a little girl. The other tables and chairs had been pushed back against the walls to leave the little girl alone in the open center of the room. She idly kicked her feet as much as her bonds allowed, to all appearances unconcerned with what was happening around her. No air conditioners battled the Mississippi humidity in the little church's fellowship hall. Located on the outskirts of Corinth, the non-denominational charismatic congregation consisted of 24 families, mostly with more children than they could possibly supervise, all dependent on the government services that they publicly denounced as a work of the devil disguised as socialism.